when I met Jesus Christ. He was almost 10 years old, and he was helping his mother push a trolley full of all they owned. And because they couldn't find an inn they could get in, they were heading to the city and leaving Bethlehem. Couldn't you perform a miracle? I'm out of them, he said. I tried turning nothing into warmth, but it just made my mother cry. It just made my mother cry. Mary Magdalene has become a man, and tonight he's old, and she has been riding my tram. Now it's late and she's trying to sleep beneath a poster for a bank. Your dreams are important to us as it bathes her face in gold. Come give us your natural gifts, we make wealth from toil. Come pretend for history's page that we're advancing Australia. Let's pretend that we're all advancing Australia.
Okay, here we are. We're in Tweed Heads.
Yeah, we are.
And who we got?
Phil Coates is my name.
Now, I can tell you're a painter,
Yes, I am.
but first off, can you turn your head to the wall?
I can.
Let's start there. What happened to that year?
Yeah. Well, I was 23 and on a night out in Surfers Paradise back in the day. Yeah, and I had a few drinks, you might say, and stumbling across the road and got hit by a drunk driver who dragged me 40 metres under his car. Yeah, so, yeah.
And you're saying that he left the car there?
Yeah, he dragged me down the road and then hit the gutter, turned a corner, hit the gutter, mounted me under the car, up over me, and just came to rest sort of thing, stuck half on the road and half on the gutter, and me under the car, and then just got out and just sort of did the runner on foot basically. So yeah.
Do you have any memory of this?
Yeah, I was conscious through the whole thing. So
was there much pain at the time?
No. Well, obviously I was a bit inebriated, so there was no real pain. But it was like slow motion. They talk about things that happen in slow motion.
Can I ask too that when you're going through the pain in slow motion, but at what point were you thinking? Was your body telling yourself you're not dead, but you're injured? Were you doing a damage
Well, I
assessment?
was really, like I said, time slowed right down, and I was thinking, man, I knew I was getting dragged by a car, and I was thinking, I wonder if I know this guy, and then I thought, if I know him, he means it, and I think I'm in trouble.
Oh, he actually thinks someone taking it out, an ex-boyfriend of
that's right, I've got him, and oh no, this is not good. And anyway, so this side of my head was on the road, and actually it tore my ear off, and it was hanging by a flap, and so the noise of the road was that loud, and then when my ear got severed, then it was really loud, and so basically everything that was touching the road sort of got, ground away sort of thing. And I only had a singlet on and a pair of jeans, so I was a bit bunged up for a little while. So
what did happen? How long were you in hospital? Were they?
Yeah.
Was it more than just your head? Was it the whole side of your body?
I lost all the skin off there and off my calf. That was on the road, that part, so I lost some skin off there. But they basically sewed my ear back on that night, and then they had to do a scalp rotation and a skin graft to cover the big hole where you could see skull and that. So, so they took me. Took about a week or so before they actually did that. But all up, I was in hospital for 3 weeks and 4 days or something. So yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
So your life starts again from then.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what were you
yeah.
doing? Were you a painter then, or were you doing something else?
Yeah, I was just probably Yahooing back then, I think. So, but yeah, no, actually, that's part of my sort of story. That you know, when I was sort of laying on the side of the road, I reckon I died. You know, when I went somewhere,
Yeah.
and I went.
The evidence was that.
Oh yeah. Like I was dead set out of my body, and I was, on my way to wherever eternity is,
Yeah.
and basically I was given the choice whether to live or die, and
Wow.
yeah, and basically I went, oh, like, well, I'm not ready to die. And actually, I said, I'm not going to die in somebody else's gutter, like,
Wow.
yeah, and like, not that I owned a gutter, but so I'm not dying in somebody else's gutter. And so I thought, well, yeah, I'm going to, got determined and come back. And then I actually woke up in my body on the side of the road with people around gawking and carrying on and stuff like that. So, but when I woke up in hospital the next day after the operation to sew my ear back on and clean me up, there was two things that I knew without a doubt, and that was one, that God was real and he gave me the choice whether to live or die, and that he kept me alive for a reason. So still don't know what that reason is, but yeah, so I might still be finding out. I don't know.
Well, who knows? How was it? They say chicks love scars. Were you seeing someone then? Were you thinking, how am I going to pick up with half an ear, or did it actually work in your favour?
Oh, no, well, it really, sent me on a spiral, actually, because, I was, like, you're pretty disfigured, and when you're young, it's just
exactly.
Man, well, how am I going to deal with this, and so I, just couldn't really deal with it, and I was drinking, sort of pretty handily before then, but after that, mate, I just went like on a 6-7 year binge, and just basically almost drank myself to death, and it was crazy. So
It'd be interesting, the relationship with God that you had.
Yeah, well,
you say you want to live, and then you do that.
Yeah, I know. Like everyone says, like, didn't that like wake you up? And like, well, yeah, it should have, but I just went totally the opposite way, and just like went mental, and I hated everybody and everything. I just went into a real black period.
So you're just really resentful, like you
Yeah,
didn't deserve to have half your face ripped off.
Yeah, well, that's right. Like, the guy never even apologised or anything, and and I went to court, and I was subpoenaed to go to court as a witness, and I'm thinking I'm the victim, not a witness, and it was all sort of topsy turvy. And
did he cop anything?
well, he had two major charges and two minor charges, and so I heard was that the barrister that got the guys off the Whiskey A Go-Go bombing years ago was his barrister, and got him off the two major charges, and then, which was not leaving the scene of an accident, and it was causing grievous bodily harm and something else, and I think the minor charges was leaving the scene of an accident and not supplying information. So they actually, I was in court like half a dozen times, and anyway, when it got to the point where they, dropped the major charges and were facing the minor ones, I just went, this is bullshit, and the judge says, hey, shut up you, I'll kick you out of this court, and I went, stick it up your butt, mate, I'm out of here, so I really felt like, I was sort of done over a bit. So
he got away with it, because that proves that there's no fairness.
Oh, of course, yeah. And I didn't really want him to go to jail, because, it was an accident, but he was drunk and he had the weapon, and sure, right. I was drunk, but, if we were both drunk and walking, we just would have butted heads, but, he had the weapon, and so I went, oh, well.
Yeah, but it could not have been, could have been a kid, could have been a lady.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You were a kid, you're already 20, like 20, we're at our age now, 20, you're a kid.
I was a kid, yeah.
Yeah,
still a bit of a kid. But.
Yeah, and you sort of that age, you're ready for the world in a way.
Yeah, that's right, and it did take me on a big sidetrack,
How'd you get out of the drinking? How'd that change?
Well, I met my ex, and we sort of hit it off and got together and moved up this way from Sydney. We're both Blacktown people, so Westies, and anyway, so we moved up here and But by the time I'd met, the damage had been done. I'd been binge drinking for a long time, and
So what, you had liver problems or something?
no, basically brain swimming in alcohol. So yeah,
Wow.
so I forget, there's a technical condition, it's called something, but basically that's what it is. You drink that much that your brain's just swimming in alcohol and you're pickled, basically. So and I nearly lost my mind after I gave up drinking. It was a pretty horrendous time, and so I basically had to cold turkey it, and just like, man, it was.
That would have been tough. So you would have gone through the shakes.
The whole bit, yeah. So I sort of got over that, and sort of got into good health.
She stayed with you through that?
Yeah, surprisingly. Yeah. It's like, so we had a couple of kids, and she had a couple of kids beforehand.
When you had the kids, though, were you better by that?
No, well, I got crook between my son being born and my daughter being born. So, he was born in 92, she was born in 94, and I basically gave up drinking in 93. So.
Okay. Yeah. And then since then, how are you going now? You still go back drinking, or is
no, I haven't had a drink in all that time, So.
In all that time? Yeah. Well, that's a victory.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to have a drink, every now and then, particularly after a hard day's work. But actually, it's sort of like poison to me now. So my body won't tolerate it. It's crazy. Yeah. Even like apple cider vinegar, it's like it affects me. Like.
Oh well, your body's almost sees that as like.
Like I couldn't drink non-alcoholic wine, even though there is a bit. It is. They say it's non-alcoholic. There is a little bit.
Okay.
But even if it was zero, I reckon my mind wouldn't deal with it. So I can't even risk having.
So your mind is almost in a survival mode against you.
Yeah, pretty well. Yeah. So I've got to try and retrain it. And they reckon microdosing, sort of straighten things out. But I'm a bit scared to do that too. So.
So moving on though, you've got from there, you get back, and we were talking about it before we get to where we usually talk.
Yeah.
You're actually like me. You're a walking museum.
Yeah.
You can remember in Australia.
Yeah.
Think back to in Australia when you were 18.
Yeah.
And no computers.
Yeah. Well, it's your oyster, isn't it? Just
no
like,
ATMs.
Yeah. No, it's great. Like.
So what did you do on the weekend for money? For anyone under 50, what did you do on the weekend for money if you couldn't get to an ATM and there's no cards?
Yeah.
No touch and tap anything.
Yeah, no, nothing. You couldn't do anything, could you? So no, it was pretty basic back then. Yeah, it was great.
No computers in the cars.
No, it was pretty basic back then for sure.
Did you, when you look back at it fondly though, is it just think times made it fun? Makes you think of it fondly, and actually there was a load of troubles, or
no, I really liked it because you could go anywhere, get a job. I used to like travel up here, and down to Victoria, and as a painter, I just like get out the phone book, ring up blokes until they found someone with enough work to put me on, and had no trouble getting a job. So I'd hate to be trying to look for a job now. So I'm self-employed, so.
So there was none of the bullshit forms or anything you had to go through, checks or anything?
Oh, no.
I'm not a pedophile check, you didn't have to do that?
No, actually, I actually had jobs where I was working under assumed names and all sorts of stuff, just like, it was pretty cool.
You could get away with it then.
No, just nothing. Oh, what's your name? Well, Joe Blogs,
And cashies everywhere?
Yeah. And so still a bit of that around.
So have you been aware of a decline in, like, say, in maybe the happiness of our culture from when you were in your 18s to now? Or
I don't know. Yeah, it's sort of like hard to say. It depends on who you hang around, I think. So I think society still is definitely a bit more standoffish and stuff like that. But I don't know. If you're just a nice person and you meet people, like I've never had trouble meeting people, and it was always like, I left home at 17 and I just mate, I'd move up to the Gold Coast and you'd have a bunch of mates before you knew it, and I think that's probably still the case, if you're genuine and and stuff like that. So I don't know, but there is definitely a fraction that, people don't trust each other, and, this whole, lagging people in for, where...
Now, you got to going back to the museum.
Yeah.
When we were in our teens, lagging was literally against the social law.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, you're a dog if you lagged someone
Yeah.
in. Yeah, definitely, yeah. It was
For anything.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. No, you took the rap if you had to, for a mate, and it was good. I mean, everyone knew where you stood back then, but
Yeah.
it's really, really sad now, so, yeah.
So COVID comes along. Why didn't you buy it?
Well, I've been an anti-vaxxer for...
Do you think the car had knocked some sense into your head?
I think it did, yeah. I reckon it probably did. Yeah. But we were talking before too about being a black sheep and all that. So, it was always... Yeah, my brother was the goody two-shoes, and I was, like the rebel, smoking cigarettes at 9 years old and, all the stuff. So, I had...
So the rebel side of your nature, you think, makes you sceptical against
Absolutely, yeah.
bosses and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Anybody in authority, yeah.
Yeah.
So my dad was actually a good role model. He reckoned he was like the original, rebel, but I sort of added to it, He's a Pommy, and he grew up a bit, sort of, not on the wild side, but he was just sort of like, he's a unionist and all that, and he was a big Labor supporter when Labor was for the worker and all that, and he was a leading hand, for the public works for 30 years, and so he was for the boys and everything, and he wouldn't take any crap from the bosses and all that. So
you got on with him?
Oh, yeah, well, great. Yeah.
When did you lose him?
About 16, 17 years ago, yeah.
That must have been pretty tough.
Yeah. He died of cancer. He was riddled with cancer. Which is sort of like everyone's going on about this turbo cancer now. Well, this was like way before COVID, 16, 17 years ago. And he died within 3 weeks of knowing he had it. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's not always the case,
Yeah.
now.
So what was something wrong? He went in and he found out he was really
Yeah. Well, he started coughing up blood actually. So and like the week before or that week, he was playing golf and went out to dinner and everything, and started coughing up blood, and he goes, "Oh cripes, I better get that checked." So went there, and I don't know how they told, but they said, "Oh yeah, you've got cancer of this and that and the other," and then like within a week he'd had a fall and ended up in hospital, and so I went down from here and spent the last 2 weeks with him, and he was gone in 2 weeks. So yeah, pretty full on. And that was like just as me and my ex were breaking up as well. So it was, it was a pretty full on time. Yeah. So pretty
It's
funny.
interesting the tests we go through.
Oh, yeah,
If you were famous, that'd be like, oh, did you read
Yeah,
what happened to him?
yeah.
But because you're a painter in the Gold Coast.
Yeah, no one knows about it. Yeah. Well, they might know now.
How'd you get over losing your dad, though? Like, you're losing your dad, losing your marriage.
Well, getting over my dad was easier than getting over my marriage, actually. So, the marriage is, not a clean wound, where you're losing your dad is a clean wound.
Yeah.
So, you're supposed to have your parents die before you, and it's not supposed to be the other way around, where a parent loses their kid. So it's a natural progression, even though it was early. He was 76, so even though it was a bit early, like it's natural sort of thing. And so it was clean, took a while to obviously get over it. And I used to have dreams, for quite a while that he was still alive, and even in my dream I'd be going, "What are you doing, Dad? You're supposed to be dead," It's so weird. Yeah, really weird.
You ever speak to you?
I don't know. I don't think he did. But it was pretty weird. Yeah, just like, quite often it'd be in my dream, So.
Do you want to talk about your marriage? Because she stuck with you some hard times. So what happened?
Just two broken people, that never really dealt with their crap, So we tried, and if we had got help, like good counselling, I reckon would have survived it. But I was still
So two broken people trying to heal each other.
Yeah, and And as a bloke, you know, like women are really good at articulating what's going on, you know, but blokes are oblivious, you know, just like they can't see anything, you know, while they're in it. You know, like I could see way clearer after it was all over, but while I was in it, like I'm just like, I don't know what's going on, you know, and all I know is I'm being backed into a corner, you know, and told I'm, you know, the worst arsehole in the world and I'm not a good dad and I'm not a good husband and I'm like, and it's all my fault, you know, so I'm like, oh, well, what do you do with that? You know, you just switch off and, yeah, so it's like, yeah, well, yeah, beginning of the end when you do that. So, so anyway, yeah, it just, yeah, I end up working away and, you know, got the phone call, you know, while I was working away that the marriage is over and, yeah, so that was that, so.
And so you got to pick yourself up again.
Yeah, all over again.
Which is interesting when we do. I talk to people
Yeah.
because even before COVID, this is what happens. Like you're writing a novel and you think, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
suddenly it's gone and
Yeah.
you're handed a fresh book and go, okay, start writing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, mate, you've always got tomorrow, and it's always a new day, and and it's like sometimes we're a little stuck. You know what I mean? Yeah, we can't really immediately drop things, but that was always what I liked about my life as a young bloke. Mate, I'd be here one minute and gone the next. You know, like I remember being at mum and dad's once. You know, and I was going out with some chick and I was sort of like over it, you know, and I'd got home from work and I got in the shower and while I was in the shower I went, I'm out, you know, I'm done, you know. And I said to my mum, I was actually, had lost my licence at the time, so I couldn't drive and, you know, anyway I said, Mum, drive me up the station, you know, and she says, where are you going? I said, I'm catching the train into Sydney and jumping on a bus or I'm going to Queensland, you know. So they're like gone, you know, just like. And that was, you know, how we lived, you know, just just like here one minute, gone the next, and I loved it, you know. So
well, you could do that then. I mean, you could turn up. It wasn't like I remember turning up in Hobart of all places.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And within a week, I had a job at the casino.
Yeah, right.
And you just turned up, and they just looked at you and went, "Yeah, all right, we'll give you a credit."
Yeah,
They just evaluated you.
on the
face
spot.
to face.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, with painting, it was sort of like, you know, what I would do now, if I put someone on, you know, it's like, well, you give them half an hour and you know within half an hour whether they're any good or not, you know, and so it'll be like, you know, don't come tomorrow, you know, or whatever, but I was like, I never lost a job, you know, I was always pretty handy, so, like, knew my trade, you know, even as a young bloke. So my dad was a painter and, you know, stuck a brush in my hand at 10 years old, you know, so.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
When did you get when you said about conspiracy theories, when did you get into them?
Well, I was probably a bit slow, really. Like, you know, I was definitely an anti-vaxxer for over 30 years, and I probably haven't had anything myself for 40 years, you know, so.
And you said you're an anti-vaxxer because of this area?
Yeah, it's a pretty, alternate area, you know, and, so we had a good bunch of friends, you know, that were all sort of anti-vaxxers and everything, you know, so it was a bit of a no-brainer. We're just like, you know, once you sort of wake up, you know, and I saw something years later after I had already made my decision and not vaccinated my kids and everything. And
so you didn't vaccinate your kids?
Oh, not doing that. No way.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And how was your wife with that?
Yeah, she was fully on board at the time. Yeah. She's ended up getting the jab now just because of work, you know, but. Still, I wouldn't have got it, you know, if I was her. But anyway, she did, and didn't vax my kids at all. So I don't know where I was going with that.
Oh, that's how you became an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah.
You said you've been one for years.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so
when it came up to COVID, there was no way you were going to do
it. Not at all. Yeah. Just thought, no, I'm not buying this, and just totally. Will never, ever change. Will never change because, that's what I was going to say. A few years later, I actually saw this, film called, from Joel Walsh or something his name is. It's called Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And it's like, he did this whole study on all these doctors dying young. And you think, well, if doctors can't keep themselves alive, like, why are you listening to them, you know? So, yeah, a lot of people, you know, have poo-pooed him, you know, and all this, but he was big on minerals and all that sort of stuff. And he was also saying, you know, like, you know, don't tread on the landmines, you know, and all that stuff as you. But you know, of course, you know, we've led a pretty hectic life, so you know we can't change that part of it. But yeah, you know, he reckoned people could easily live way over 100 if they played, you know, it's sort of right, you know, and didn't go to doctors, you know. So it was a no-brainer for me, you know. And so as soon as this COVID thing hit, you know, and they were threatening, you know, that, you know, you won't be part of society, you know, and how isolated we were. I'm thinking I'm on my own here, you know, but even though I was watching you down in Melbourne, you know, and mate, I was watching that live, you know, the shrine and everything, you know, and mate, I'm like, oh, what the hell, you know, and just like, you know, all this stuff, and I'm just like, but you still felt like I'm on my own, you know, like, you know, but I was going to all the rallies here and everything, you know, the protests and everything, and I went to the first one they had in Brisbane and everything, and so I was like fully on board with everything, you know, and yeah, just like, yeah, pretty vocal, you know. If you go back through my Facebook feed, you know, you'll see everything, you know, that's ever been sort of put out there, you know. So, but yeah, there's no way I would have, you know, bought into it and still won't. So, yeah.
Were you surprised how your country reacted?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just like, you know, I think all my family have got it, you know, and I said to my brother, you know, my mum's like in her 90s now, you know, and I said, mate, don't let her get it. Don't get it yourself, you know, and he says, oh, yeah, I won't, you know, and I says, look, there's no hurry. Don't worry about it. Just wait for a year or two or whatever. Don't, you know, like, let's wait and see if it's any good. Yeah, he probably waited 2 weeks or something, you know, and I'm thinking, yeah, idiot, you know, just like... And but my mum only had 3 before she's sort of, I don't know if she's woken up, but she just thinks, well, I won't bother. But, you know, she's still going to get a flu jab, and, you know, and, yeah, old people are really weird, aren't they?
Oh,
you
they
can jab them with anything, you know, and they seem to not keel over. So, yeah, she's actually 98 in October, you know, and she's like still
She's not
going.
good for our case.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Well, she like, yeah, was into like meadow leaf years. She grew up on a farm, you know, a dairy farm. And like when I started waking up, you know, up this way, you know, years ago, I'm going, what are you doing eating margarine? Get back on butter. And she says, you know, well, it hasn't killed me yet, has it? You know, I'm like, I die.
My dad's the same.
Yeah, how can you argue with it? You know?
Drinks water at the time. What about fluoride?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, my dad's never drank water, you know, and maybe that's why he died at 76, you know. Yeah, like...
As your painting job, was your work affected much? Like
No, well, it took me a while to sort of wake up to, you know, like how much of a joke it was. So I sort of did isolate a bit, you know, and sort of lived off my savings, you know, paying my rent out of my savings and stuff. So, and I just thought, oh, when am I going to get work? No one's working and all this sort of stuff. But, you know, I think it was probably, you know, 4 months or something, you know, just sort of like, I don't know, whether I'd, you know, I couldn't get over the border. They'd shut the border and all that.
I see you work over the border a bit?
Yeah, if I can, yeah. You know, I don't get a lot over there, but yeah, I do get a bit every now and then. So, but yeah, so that was sort of like out, you know, from there. But yeah, I just pick up work and yeah, just...
Well, with this work you pick up, you're out there in the community. Yeah. Are you noticing any vaccine injuries or anything like that?
Well, I know another painter who got vaccine injured, yeah, and I think he had lung trouble. I think it was lung trouble, yeah. So, and he knows he was vaccine injured, and yeah, still I know a few people. Even my flatmate who was living here, you know, she got vaccine injured, and her son got vaccine injured. You know, he got,
wow.
Yeah, he was only a young fella and had to get it for his job, and he got one of them pericarditis, yeah, whatever.
Pericarditis.
Yeah, or myocarditis, one or the other. So,
yeah.
Yeah, sort of a mild case or something, but yeah, whatever that means.
Yeah, you said it was mild, the doctors.
Yeah. So I don't know. I haven't heard.
You can be mildly dead soon.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's like, what was that? It's like, death isn't, you know, classed as, you know, an adverse reaction. You know, so.
They actually call it unalive now.
Yeah, right. Really. Unalive,
yeah, I'm noticing on a few publications are going, so he's unalive, and you're going,
yeah, right.
You mean dead?
Yeah.
For some reason, they don't like saying dead.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
What about the other things you're seeing in Australia now, though, like the cost of living?
Oh,
you're
mate,
single by yourself, cost of living.
Yeah.
The migration, we're not allowed to talk about it, but what are you seeing here with that?
Yeah, not too much like in the way of, different ethnicities here around this way. But yeah, I've been watching Ted the Trucker, I don't know if you've seen him, he's a pretty radical sort of guy. But he's talking about how all these, I don't know if they're Indians or whatever, like taking over, all the semis and all that, and they're like a danger on the road and, mate, they're having accidents after accidents, so...
Well, it's funny they say that, but I live on the road. As a rule, I haven't personally seen that, know. I see the trucks, and I see lots of Indian drivers, so...
Yeah.
It's only because I haven't actually seen it.
Yeah, right.
But there are a lot of the drivers now are Indian. So even on the Nullarbor, they're all which is so. Yeah, well, and even the roadhouses there sell curries.
Yeah, right.
They've got in the bakery is all full of Indian food.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty good. I used to like going to Malaysia and getting all that sort of tucker and everything. So
now you've got to go to the Nullarbor.
Yeah, pretty partial to that. So. Yeah, but you listen to him, mate. Yeah, there's a big rift, going on. And, it's
get a CB.
Yeah,
put it on in the city and listen to them fighting over the CB. The Aussies and the Indians and the Pakistanis fight over CB radio. It's hilarious.
Yeah, right.
Because they each give each.
Yeah, right.
They both
give them curry. Yeah.
Both give them curry. It's actually really funny.
Yeah.
I'm even in stitches.
Yeah, right. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, they're saying things like, what one will say, go home to your country, and the other one can't. I can't, I'm fucking your mother.
Oh, no.
And that's what they're saying.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So it'd be interesting to see at some point if they'd actually become friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that is, I think, the issue. Like, my dad was a racist, I carried on like one, but I reckon if you had got him with an Aboriginal or a black person, he'd just treat him like a normal person, So it was always, like it's a fear thing that, and it's abstract, but, if you actually deal with people, I grew up, we used to hate Asians, it was Asians were the problem, and, we hated Asians and all this sort of stuff. But
even when you're getting Chinese takeaway.
Yeah. But, I've been to Asia a lot, and they are some of the most beautiful and intelligent people, just like been going to Burma a lot as well, and so, mate, it's like one of the most third world countries you'll ever go to, and the people are beautiful, they really are, so, and they've got this spirit, where... Even though they're under a military dictatorship, but mate, you can't kill the spark in them, they're just genuinely happy, and they've got next to nothing, and so,
and here we are with all this, we're all miserable.
Yeah, exactly, and we're judging everybody else, so I don't know.
How do you see going forward though now? Because we just joined the WHO. We have this strange politicians who seem completely out of touch with the people, but the people seem to be waking up. And what do you see going forward?
Mate, I don't see any way out of it apart from us taking it back, by force, basically. So, I don't know what that looks like.
It probably looks like Asia just about to break in your window.
I'm waiting for them to abseil out down out of the helicopter, But I don't know. I'll have to sharpen my stick, and get a few. What is it? A few rocks on a bag of pebbles. Monty Python. So.
Well, I hate to say it, but it's hard to see where everyone's tried so many things.
Yeah, I know. Well, what's the alternative? No, it's the only way. They're not going to give it up, and we have to take it. And everyone's saying let's do it peaceful, and we have to do it peaceful because we've got no arms. Let's face it. But why don't we just walk in there and just go, we're here, we're taking over. And I don't know if we do that in the old Parliament House or whatever, but, I know a lot of people are floating ideas about, but they're not going to give it up, and we really have to take it back. We've got to do it. Otherwise, and just this, we've signed up with the WHO, they're fully on board, America's evidently, saying they pulled out, yesterday or whatever, but are they fair dinkum? I don't know, so it's really up to us. It's not up to, because our government's not following suit, even if America's fair dinkum. So,
do you think our politicians are serving us at the moment?
No, of course not. No, not at all. Mate, Albo's he's over there in China now, still is he, you know, like, mate, just, you've got to be kidding, you know, like, and he's meeting up with Bill Gates and, you know, far out, mate. If I saw Bill Gates on the street, only one of us are walking away, you know, so it's just like, seriously, I just can't get our politicians, you know, they're totally sold out. The straw that broke my camel's back was when they closed Holden down, you know, like, you know, I just thought...
In Geelong?
Yeah, you know, when they said, that's it, no more Holdens, you know, so it's just like, man, they ruined every industry, got rid of every industry, and then when Holden folded, it was like, that's it, I'm done, you know, and so... they've been slowly, you know, killing our country. They don't deserve to be running it, you know, like they deserve to be tried for treason, seriously. And, you know, we've got to do it, you know. But I don't know how, because there's so many people asleep, you know.
Yeah.
So many people, and you think, let's do it. But, you know, there'd be, you know, more people, you know, standing in front of us, you know, stopping us from doing it, you know. So it's like, it's mad, you know, I don't get it. So.
It's even though, I mean, if anything, what we know now, I don't know if you'd agree, but we were born into the era of she'll be right.
Yeah.
But that era's dead.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. It's it was always a myth, wasn't it? You know, but because we thought, you know, that the Aussies will always stand up, you know, and then through that whole COVID thing, and I grew up in the West.
They'd never fall down in the first place.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Well, they'd never bend over. We wouldn't think, you know.
No, you know, and but I don't know. It's just crazy. Like during COVID, because I grew up in west of Sydney, and I just thought, like, mate, if I was down there, we'd all be on the street, you know, and everything, and you know, and then you realise all the Greeks and the, you know, Maltese and all that, mate, they'll stand up, you know, and all the Maoris and all that, and they'll stand up, you know. But, you know, when you got helicopters, you know, like, you know, one loud hailers, get back in your house, you know, and all that crap, you know.
We've heard of bikie gangs that kicked out unvaccinated members.
Yeah, wow, really?
Yeah,
wow,
a few of them.
I was so disappointed to see them stand up with that what is it? The union down in Melbourne, you know, the
CMFE.
Yeah, man, that was bullshit. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, I was there that day. It was pretty full on.
Yeah. I dig that big Maori guy when the copper came up to him and goes, "Get away," you know, and he just like that, mate. And the copper just had to walk away. Man, that was the man, that dude.
Yeah.
But those bikers, man, I couldn't believe it. You know, and it just shows how corrupt it is, you know. The government, you know, getting bikers on board. Like, I can't understand that they wouldn't, you know, it's all obviously all money, you know, and corruption and stuff like that. But, mate, I don't get it that people won't stand up, you know. They won't stand up, they won't, you know, just take the hit, you know, because that's what we're supposed to do, you know, take the hit, you know, and no one's willing to do it, apart from you and, you know, a few others, you know, but, yeah, most people just roll over, you know. It's just like pathetic, you know, and the Aussie spirit that we used to believe in, you know, is dead and buried, you know, and there's a new one coming, but it's going to be slow, you know. I think, was it you that said that, you know, we're just the start of it, you know. It's a long
marathon relay, and we're the first baton runners.
That's right, yeah. You know, so we won't see it, you know.
No.
But I want to see it.
But we got to keep running.
I want to see it though, you know. I want it now. I want it now, you know. And
well, you manifest it, and your grandkid will enjoy it.
Yeah, we got to. I think we got it, you know, because I don't trust it. You know, like when we're dead, you know, they've got all the brainwashing, you know, of the kids coming through. I don't know that, you know, they won't win, you know. Like, I think.
Well, you were born in a time with no computers, no
cameras
cameras watching every move at all,
oh, man,
no cards to pay, no digital ID, and stuff like this. You literally could be the last Australian.
Could be, yeah. Me and us, our generation, yeah. It's pretty sad, man. Yeah.
Back down the road I found the church we built on the black man's bones was head down, we just keep running along our fading golden shores. So head down, we just keep running along our fading golden shores. Come give us your natural gifts, we make wealth from toil. Come pretend for history's